Ohayo. Welcome to the So Japanese podcast, a podcast about all things Japan from a
Japanese
and foreign perspective. We are your hosts. My name is John.
My name is Ryusuke.
Thank you for joining us today.
ありがとうございます。
Today's topic is one of our favorite things.
Yes.
So we had planned to do an episode about this topic, and we recently received topic suggestion from one of our listeners. So we decided to go ahead and record it.
Yep.
And that is Cannabis in Japan.
Cannabis.
Cannabis in Japan.
はい。
So let's just start by talking about how the general Japanese person in Japan thinks about marijuana.
I think for Japanese people, marijuana, it's really, really bad drug.
Okay.
Like, no drug.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have a perception of like, oh, if you smoke weed, it makes you lazy or...
It's more like they don't even say you get lazy or something. They just think it's drug. So if you do that, immediately you get addicted, then it's gonna cause for your life.
So they group it the same as like the hard drugs.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, we will have another episode that's talking about other drugs
exactly
in Japan.
But this episode is focused on cannabis.
Exactly. So they think it's super addicting and it can ruin your life.
Exactly. And then in a way, it does. Not for your health or not for your life, but because of you get arrested.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more like you're afraid of the law.
Exactly.
Do they even know like what cannabis does to you?
I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah, they don't know.
They think it like involves needles and stuff.
Yeah, I think they
right?
When they heard marijuana, daima, whatever, and then right away they think, oh, it's drug.
Okay.
You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because once you start that drug, then you're gonna addicted to other drugs.
Yeah. I think that's like the general idea for like anti-marijuana people. Like it's a gateway drug, right? It's a starting point to like harder things.
Yeah.
So for me, living in Japan, so I've been a regular smoker since I was a teenager. And in preparation to go to Japan, knowing that it's super illegal there, I kind of like took a break from weed because I thought that I wasn't going to be able to get it there at all. So I thought, okay, I'm going to stay there at least a year. So I probably won't get to smoke. But actually, like the day I arrived into Himeji, I met friends that offered weed to me right away. So I was quite lucky. I was surprised.
Okay.
I was surprised. And the quality of weed that we were able to get there was really good. I assumed that with most like super illegal countries, most likely you'll get like shitty like stems and seeds.
That's
right?
what I heard.
Right? But it was good stuff.
Maybe
super expensive though.
Yeah, for sure.
Super expensive though. I remember it was like $50 per gram.
Yeah.
So me and my friends, we would like, if we wanted to roll a joint, we would just like pack it with tobacco.
Has to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a pure weed joint in Japan is like unheard of, right?
And maybe you smoke with them in a small room or like hot box.
Exactly. Yeah. Take advantage of the smoke. Or like the first time ever I had to do it, I had to make like a water bong. Like a water suction bong. It was so ghetto. Like I went to Daiso, bought like a garbage can, cut like...
You made it.
Yeah. Cut a water bottle, a 2-liter water bottle, got some foil.
Wow.
That's the only way, right? You have to take advantage of every little bit. Yeah. And we couldn't get it. Like, I guess $50 per gram is expensive, but it didn't stop me from like wanting to smoke, but you couldn't always get it. That was the problem. So yeah, super expensive.
Yeah.
But like the Japanese friends that I had over there, most of them have lived abroad before. And I was surprised to hear back then, like, yeah, they all smoked weed. So I feel like, I'm not sure if it's the type of Japanese person that is willing or wanted to live abroad, is willing to experiment, or they don't think weed is so bad. But yeah. And even like the Japanese people we met here, like you smoke it here.
Yeah.
A lot of our friends that we know, Japanese working holiday, they smoke weed, right?
They smoke. Yeah.
So I guess, is it the perception of like that it's super bad amongst like the older people, older generation?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, because it's just, I mean, in Japan, everybody think weed is bad. So of course we grow up with like
that
everybody
idea.
is telling us like,
Yeah.
don't do drug, don't do drug. But that drug means including weed.
But you can drink yourself silly, fall asleep at the train station. That's okay.
Yeah.
You can
Which
smoke
is so
3 packs
weird.
a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can get super drunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like the brainwashing.
Definitely.
Involved, right?
That's what I think. Yeah.
So let's go through some of the history about cannabis in Japan.
Yeah, and then from the history we're going to know how important weed.
Yeah, we didn't know how quite important it was,
Yes.
right? So the cannabis plant itself, apparently it's actually native to the Japanese archipelago. So they think that it's native to like Korea, China, Japan, that area. And that it was probably brought to Japan or grown in that area via land bridge that connected the Asian continent to the Japanese archipelago, roughly 18,000 years ago. So super old, right? By the way, in Japan, we'll have a street level Japanese segment at the end talking about like words related to cannabis. But traditionally, marijuana in Japan is called
Daima.
And that's from the Chinese word daima.
Daima.
So same word, I suppose.
Yeah.
So cultivation of cannabis began as early as 10,000 years ago in Japan, before rice cultivation. So definitely one of the earliest cultivated plants in Japan. So deep history. So the plant was grown as a food source for its fibers, which were used to create clothing, rope, nets, and then later paper. They thought of hemp being like like a clothing material.
Yeah, like as a fabric.
As a fabric, yes.
And then as a food. And it's basically for everything.
Like a perfect plant.
Perfect plant.
Right.
Because that's why, you know, in 7 spice in Japan, we call shichimi, which is the spicy seasoned.
For our listeners, where can they, if they can't think of how it looks like, where can they find this shichimi?
I think in Japanese grocery store and like most of Asian grocery store in a small like a bottle,
glass
bottle with that red lid on it.
The color of the spice is mostly red
because of the chili.
Yeah. But can you, for sure you find it at like udon restaurants, tempura restaurants,
maybe sometimes ramen restaurants even have it,
maybe, right?
Yeah.
So the 7 spices in this spice is chili, seaweed, and sansho pepper, and what else? Sesame, and then 3 more. Seaweed and what else? Maybe it's white and black sesame. That
Maybe.
Counts?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think 2 different cherry or something. And then one more is actually seeds of cannabis.
Exactly.
Without
hemp seeds.
THC.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's also citrus powder.
Right.
And ginger powder.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's everywhere, right? It's in.
See, we're eating.
Exactly. Right.
So how come you say no?
Right.
Have you seen Coke in a Coca-Cola now?
Anymore, right?
Right.
So they thought of hemp as a fabric for clothing as like the perfect fabric because of Japan's extreme climate, super hot, humid, and super cold in the winter. It's perfect. It's keeps you warm in the winter.
And it's cool down in the summer.
Cool and airy for the summer.
And even like their antimicrobial and auto resistant.
Right.
So it's perfect.
It's the perfect.
I don't think that time, like 18,000 years ago, they don't even have shower, right?
It's like what you think of the stereotypical like hippie stoner wearing like the hemp
clothes,
Yeah.
like coat and maybe pants.
That's why it's odor resistant.
Yeah, makes sense.
So cannabis it grew freely all over Japan, like wild, right? It was everywhere.
Yeah, because I mean we call weed. Weed means like they can grow anywhere, right?
Yeah, right.
So like I know in Hokkaido, which is north of Japan, they have a lot of like land, like flat. And there is like naturally growing weed plant. I mean marijuana. And the interesting things about this, police knows where they are.
Okay.
Of course, they're not gonna cut them down. They live there. But of course, if someone knows who likes weed,
Okay.
they think, oh, it's weed here.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
Let's fucking get it.
Yeah.
But police checking every single spot the weed growing. So they patrol in those areas. If they sees somebody harvest any suspicious thing, they will stay there hiding.
Really?
And then one day you come, maybe nighttime, mostly I guess nighttime, then they're gonna, hey, what are you doing?
So it's a trap.
It's a fucking trap. To me, if it's illegal, why don't you just cut
it
or
down.
burn?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's wrong with it?
Right?
Right? Why you leave it, then you waiting for someone's gonna take it. This is so fucked up to me. It's something wrong.
Right? Especially knowing that cannabis has such a deep history in Japan. So much so that there's like a cannabis museum.
Yeah.
In
Of course.
Tochigi or something?
Tochigi. Yeah.
Tochigi
Nasu.
Prefecture.
Yeah.
So in this museum, you see pictures of like prehistoric cave paintings of marijuana leaf, seeds, people growing it, like hemp being used as fabric. So it's a part of it. It's part of Japan.
Yeah.
Even in the Shinto religion, right?
Yes.
Shinto priests use it to like cleanse and purify.
To use the marijuana leaf and
exorcise evil spirits. Even because it signifies purity, even brides used to wear veils of cannabis on their wedding days. So it's a thing. Even in like Ise Jingu, which is
the biggest and most powerful shrine in Japan.
In Mie.
They have that. Like they have the, how to call charm? Which is omamori.
Yeah.
And it's called Shingu Taima.
Okay.
Taima is weed.
Yeah.
And so they being used marijuana for even pray.
Yes.
Even for God.
Yes.
I mean, I believe the weed as a God.
Yeah.
Because the weed plant sells everything for Japanese nationals, right? Food, clothes, and like with the weed, they can even make a fish net or those like tools too.
Yes.
Or even rope.
Yes.
Right? So like, how come you suddenly banned
right?
everything?
So we'll get to that in a bit. It angers us actually, right?
Sorry, yeah.
So the charm can like help purify you. So you can go to any shrine and temple in Japan, and we mentioned it before in our
Another episode about shrine and temple.
That every shrine you can buy like charms and stuff to take home with you and stuff. So this daima charm is to help purify, cleanse you, and it used to be made out of weed leaf.
The weed leaf, yeah.
But now it's just paper,
It's
right?
paper and wood, but yeah.
So like they would burn it and purify, pray to the weed god, marijuana god.
So I believe that every single Japanese, for sure, most of the Japanese people went to Ise Jingu, shrine Ise at least once. Maybe they don't even know, but how you pray for is one for weed.
They have 5 annual ceremonies dedicated
For weed.
to marijuana at Isijingu, right? So if like a regular Japanese person would, what do they think? Like, it's just like, oh, it's like old history. It's right?
Well, the funny thing is about this, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So people don't talk.
Okay.
Maybe people call different way. So they don't use the timer word.
Okay.
Or whatever timer, they think it's different thing.
Okay.
You know?
I'm sure even like, so I used to smoke weed in my friend's house, Japanese guy. And we would just smoke in his room. And he lives with his family. I said, hey, is this okay? Do they know what it smells like? He said, no. He just thinks it's incense.
Exactly. Because they don't know the smell.
Yeah. So they're that uneducated about it, yet they feel so strongly against it. It's crazy brainwashing.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the legal status of cannabis in Japan. So the cannabis control law in Japan bans the import, export, cultivation, sale, purchase, and research of cannabis buds and leaves. And this law has been like altered, modified multiple times, and each time adding stricter penalties for the violations. So, but apparently industrial hemp is legal. So to protect like farmers, I suppose, right?
I suppose.
So, and you can also smoke it. So consumption of Japan is legal. So you can smoke it, but you can't have it. Actually, you can't smoke it. So the reason why it's legal to consume it, it protects the farmers. So just in case they unintentionally inhale the crop's psychoactive substances. But I think even now, the Ministry of Health is trying to make consumption illegal as well. CBD is legal in Japan. So any non-psychoactive part, like stems and stalks that do not contain THC is legal. So even I was surprised to see last time when I was back at Don Quixote.
Yeah. Oh, you see it.
Yeah, because I think when I went that time, vaping, like tobacco, nicotine vaping was starting to get popular. And in the glass case, I saw CBD, which I was surprised with. But I think it's like a legal loophole that makes it okay, right?
Yeah.
But again, you don't get high from it. So I guess, of course, it's fine. So the penalties is possession of cannabis up to 5 years.
Yep.
If you have... if possession for the purpose of trafficking, 7 years. If you grow it, 7 years. So it's not like death penalty bad like other Asian countries, but quite severe still. But actually, most first offenses, you get a suspended sentence. That's what they call it. But I think it's pretty much like probation.
Yeah.
You still get a black mark, right?
Yeah, right away.
Right.
And then for sure they're gonna check your phone. They're gonna check like what do you do a couple of times in a month, I guess, till they know you're completely off
Right.
from the weed. Yeah.
I knew English teachers that got deported.
Oh yeah.
They got caught. I remember there was like a big story with Nova. So Nova was like a big English school company. I think mostly geared towards adults, like business English. But anyway, back then, every train station had a Nova location.
Yep.
And I remember hearing that there was a house that was a Nova house that I guess housed all the foreign English teachers. And like a few of them had
choice.
it. And police came to arrest or like search the house. But a funny side part about it was that apparently if Japanese police raid a house, they still take off their shoes at the, what's it called again? The
Genkan.
And the genkan.
Thank you.
Right? That's polite, right?
Yeah, you're so polite. And you're gonna arrest me now.
Yeah, Thank you. As long as you didn't get my floors dirty.
Yeah.
And I think so. If you're a foreigner caught with weed in Japan, you can either get straight deported and then banned for life to ever entering Japan again. Right away, or you might have to like serve a sentence, and then after your sentence, you get kicked out. So for foreigners, even there's like high-profile arrests in Japan. Like in 1980, Paul McCartney got caught with weed in Narita. He went to jail for a couple of days. Sumo, there's like this big scandal amongst the sumo wrestler. And I don't know, I think a few of them got caught with weed and then they got banned for life. Even professional rugby players, because like the foreign players, they got caught with like weed in their system, banned for life. Even like the team was sponsored by Toshiba. And once that happened, Toshiba pulled their sponsorship as well. What else? There was an actress in 2017, Saya Takagi.
Yeah.
You know her?
Yeah.
Famous?
Yeah, she's famous.
So she got caught, sentenced to a 3-year suspended sentence for possession of cannabis. Her show was really popular back then. It was like a police detective type show.
Yep.
Called Aibo.
Yeah.
Immediately taken off all TV schedules. She wrote like a theme song to another TV show, immediately removed. So like anything you're associated with,
it's basically
removed from like
everything.
History.
That's why I mean, even though you don't get death sentence, but basically you're out of your life.
Right?
You're done.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the fear, right? That's how they brainwash you, right? So another thing which is interesting, that Aki Abe, the wife to now
the previous president,
deceased prime minister,
yeah,
she was photographed standing in a field of very large cannabis plants. So she did it to make a point. She was arguing for the revival of cannabis culture that had prevailed in Japan for thousands of years, and thousands of years, until it was stamped out by foreigners. So she thought that we should restore Japan's earlier culture of growing hemp. So most Japanese people see cannabis as a subculture of Japan, but they're wrong. For thousands of years, cannabis has been at the very heart of Japanese culture. So, like you said, it was a big, big thing. Even enough where like kids used to be told the best children grew up to resemble cannabis plants because they are tall and strong. Right?
My parents didn't tell me that.
No, right? I guess like your parents' generation was like most brainwashed.
Exactly, for sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe like your parents' parents before that.
Maybe they were still okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a livelihood.
Yeah.
Just farmers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we asked the question now. How did cannabis go from being revered to demonized in such a short period of time? So big part of history, shrines, you pray to it, to being like, if you get caught with it, shunned publicly, right? Embarrassed, humiliated. So after the Second World War, when Japan was defeated and occupied, the U.S. imposed its own attitudes towards drugs on the country. So the American war on drugs. So I guess any country that America occupied, they banned it. All drugs, right? They applied their war on drugs on any place, right? So in 1948, Japan's Cannabis Control Act was passed. And immediately, the country's 25,000 cannabis farms were closed immediately.
Wow.
Fucked up.
So those farmers lost the job
right
away for no reason, basically.
Outside reason.
Yes.
A foreigner.
Yeah.
Right? A foreign power, right?
Yeah.
So there was no domestic pressure in Japan.
No.
The Japanese government didn't want to ban.
No. They're trying to save it.
Right?
This industry.
Because I think historically in Japan, it wasn't even smoked that much.
It wasn't for smoke. It's really for your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like Japanese people are so it's such a workaholic culture anyway that weed wouldn't be the drug of choice.
No.
It makes you lazy, right?
Yeah. Still alcohol.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So like during this time when America imposed their laws on Japan, there was like treaties between the two countries arguing back and forth.
Yeah.
Whether or not like Japan didn't want this law to be imposed on them.
No.
But ultimately,
yeah,
they succumbed, right? So,
and there's one good story about this to why so important. The weed is so important in Japan.
Okay.
The Showa emperor, he actually wanted to protect this industry, which is the wheat farm industry, and then he said this word: since every plant has a name, we shouldn't just call them weeds. Every plant has meaning and purpose. Humans shouldn't be able to control what plants can grow because it's natural. And he was even a biologist.
Okay.
So he really know how important this plant to this country. Yeah. And he really wanted to protect. And he even told all the farmers, you guys gonna be okay. Don't worry. But didn't happen. I mean, I guess his power wasn't enough. I mean, he can actually control the law, right?
Yeah.
He's just the emperor.
Exactly.
He shouldn't involve how to change or make the law. So, yeah.
Super fucked up.
Yep. I guess.
So the ban has been for, I guess, since World War II.
So
right?
almost like 70 years.
So a few generations.
Yeah.
A couple generations.
Yeah.
So this belief, like the brainwashing is so powerful that now like Japan thinks that there's something evil about cannabis. Right? Like
you can't.
It's not their own belief. It's the American belief. Don't get us even started on the American war on drugs. That's in itself fucked up.
Yeah.
But to impose it to other countries as well, and it's fucked up. So
yeah.
I mean, even like medical marijuana is not a thing there, right?
It's not a thing there yet.
There was like a story. Yeah, I think yet. Hopefully, it will change.
Yeah, some people are working on it.
Like cancer patients found it to help them. Like a few people even been arrested for growing it for themselves.
And they have cancer.
And they got arrested.
Yeah.
So like they don't understand. Their argument was that they don't understand like who is this law trying to protect? Like it helps me. It helps ease my pain. Makes me have a better quality of life despite my cancer.
And I think these things people always say that, but like, how many people got killed by weed?
Exactly.
Compared to other drugs, including alcohol, including cigarette, tobacco.
Exactly.
Maybe 0.01%, or some stupid, they smoke a lot and drive and maybe die. But honestly, again, compared to tobacco and alcohol, just two of them in Japan.
Yeah.
For sure, more people dying from that.
So this Saya, what's her name?
Saya Takagi.
She's like a marijuana activist now.
Yeah.
How much of that can you do in Japan? Like,
I don't know.
I feel like you'd get censored.
Exactly. So for sure, she's already checked out all the time. All the time. Maybe for her lifetime.
She'll never be able to like publicly.
I don't even know. I don't think she's allowed to get out Japan because she has criminal record now.
True.
Right? Yeah. So, and it's bad criminal record. It's no.
Even if you have a criminal record abroad, like foreigners, for drugs, you can't enter Japan.
No, I don't think
right?
so.
No.
Yeah.
So when Canada legalized cannabis, the Japanese consulate in Vancouver made like a press release saying that asking or trying to scare, I guess, Japanese nationals living in Canada or living in countries where weed or states where weed is legal, that you're Japanese first. You still need to follow our cannabis laws, even though you are living in a legalized state or country. They try to scare Japanese nationals, saying that you may become addicted to the plant, smoking it in Canada, and that you can potentially be addicted and need to use it when you go back to Japan.
Yeah, well, that's why there was another TV show I was watching on YouTube, and then it was kind of documentary about like Vancouver.
Okay.
And Canada, they start legalize 2018, October, blah, blah, blah. And they shoot all the street. There's a bunch of, I would say, crackhead.
Okay, so like for our listeners that don't know, in Vancouver, currently there's like a big opiate heroin problem.
Yeah.
And I think you're referring to the street. I think it's called East Hastings.
Okay.
And it's apparently like 3 blocks of like homeless tents and people like shooting up drugs like openly. It's pretty bad, but that's a symptom of like the opiate heroin epidemic.
Other drugs,
right?
But the Japanese TV introduced that as because of they legalize. Look at all these people on the street. They don't even have a house. They don't even have a home. Now they're kind of dead. Like they just been there for nothing.
Yeah.
Because of weed.
It's because of cannabis legalization.
Because of cannabis. And I was like, oh no. Like, okay, so the media, they don't even know the truth. It's okay if that is true. But you don't know. Did you actually research or you just want to get some good topic and then just say it, whatever you think people are attracted. Such a wrong information,
right?
You know?
Yeah,
So,
it's part of the brainwashing, right?
yeah, when I was watching, I was just laugh.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is fucking joke.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, maybe because they don't know how to speak English, then they can't interview them.
Oh, so they were in Vancouver too.
Yeah, they were in Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so bad.
So for our listeners out there, I think one of the questions was that like if the listener that requested this episode, I believe they work in the cannabis industry back home. So they were wondering if they travel to Japan or live in Japan and told people in Japan what their job is, how would they be seen? What do you think?
About
Like, so I'm a tourist.
yeah,
I meet Japanese people.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your job back home in Canada? Oh, I work for a dispensary. I work for a company that grows medical marijuana or marijuana, whatever.
I don't think they will tell that to most of the people.
What do you mean? Like you
So,
shouldn't
like,
you shouldn't
Exactly, you shouldn't even say that. So
really?
maybe they're gonna tell only few friends you really know.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna tell family.
No, I mean as a tourist,
Okay.
you're visiting Japan, you meet people at a bar.
Oh, and then you tell,
And then
as a foreigner,
these Japanese people are be like, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Canada. What do you do? Oh, I work at a dispensary.
they don't understand.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you explain, and they're like, okay, so are you criminal?
Aha. How'd you get into this country? You're a criminal,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I wonder if like any Japanese working holiday people would work for a dispensary here. You probably
maybe
get arrested.
no.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I wonder.
Don't know. Yeah, I wonder too.
Right?
Actually, yeah. Maybe I should try.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's legal here. I was reading a lot of the information. Yes, Japanese government say that like you shouldn't do it, and then there's a chance you can get arrested in Japan. But also, the other hand, some articles say that because Canada say okay, so Japan can fight with somebody else's law.
Apparently, there's no one that has been arrested.
Yeah,
That like,
because of that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So
But I would say if you try to enter Japan, like don't even have like if your luggage had marijuana on it the day before, don't have
And
residue
smell. Yeah.
or smell in
Yeah.
it. I think they can give you a hard time.
yeah,
Right.
for sure. Yeah.
So Japanese people just don't understand, right? But I think like any Japanese person that I met that has lived abroad or is interested in other countries outside of Japan, I think they have that mindset that it's fine.
Yeah.
They even do it, right?
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
Well, so yeah, this is really weird situation Japanese people have because of it's all about wrong information.
And it's
But
not even like a Japanese law for real, though. It's an
exactly.
American law.
Yeah, and because of that, I mean, it's illegal is illegal, so you shouldn't do it in Japan. But still, then you lose all your life because of that.
Yeah.
Like you smoking something from nature,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
and Japanese government allow you to drink as much as you want
To death. Yeah,
to
yeah.
death.
Yeah.
And then Japanese government still don't tax enough to smoke more people because they work too hard and they addicted to cigarette, and then they cause lung cancer or other cancers, and then they die. That's okay, and give us the evidence why weed is no good.
Yeah.
Like scientifically.
Right.
Right?
My main thing is that like it was so important historically in Japan.
Exactly. And again, it wasn't for smoke. It was for, to me, it was for life. It was for...
And religion.
Yes. Yeah. So now, one country just said like, no, you can't do it. Even though you believe in that shit.
Yeah. I remember in Osaka, like in the street fashion areas, right? You see a lot of like Jamaican flags, marijuana leaf clothing and stuff like that. So like, I think the younger generation is totally okay with marijuana, right?
But again, like if you say ganja, if you say marijuana, people just like, oh, you no.
Yeah.
You don't talk shit.
So if you're a tourist going to Japan and you like to smoke weed, I guess for the time you're in Japan, just don't do it, just in case.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, don't do it.
Right.
Seriously, don't do it. Just, you need to think. You have freedom on your country. You do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Japan, you can still enjoy without us.
Yeah.
There's so many other stuff. And you can drink alcohol anywhere, even outside, 24/7.
Yeah.
So that's, by law, you're okay to drink.
Also, I feel like being in Japan, it's like such a different country from anywhere else that being in that environment, seeing all the lights, all like the weird Japanese stuff, like you're in like other reality in itself already. Like obviously it'd be good to like walk down the streets of Tokyo with a joint in your hand, but that's not going to happen. So it's a drug enough just being in Japan. So this brings us to our street level Japanese segment, Cannabis edition, I suppose. So just, I guess, street slang about words about weed.
Yep.
So what are the names of cannabis in Japan? So
in Japanese?
Yeah, in Japanese.
Happa.
Happa. Happa means
leaf.
Leaf, okay.
Or kusa.
Kusa.
It means grass.
Grass.
Or leaf.
Okay.
And ganja.
Ganja.
I think it's ganja.
Worldwide.
Yeah. Marifana.
Marifana, okay.
Yeah.
Marijuana.
Yeah. And choco.
Choco, short for chocolate, I suppose.
Yeah.
Think that's for hash, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is. And kimatteru.
Kimatteru.
Or buri.
Buri. It means stoned.
Yeah.
Like being high from marijuana. Right? Okay.
Yeah. And then baddo.
Baddo. Like bad.
Yeah.
So like I guess bad trip.
Yeah. Yeah. And maku.
Maku. Maku is the verb to roll. So how do I say like I want to roll a joint?
Joint maite.
Maite? Okay.
Joint mako.
Mako. How do you say rolling papers then?
Makigami.
Makikami. Oh, that makes sense. Like bong or?
Bong is bongu.
Okay.
Or mizu pipe.
Mizu pipe.
Water pipe.
Water pipe. Okay.
Yeah.
So pipe would be paipu.
Pipe. Yeah.
How about like munchies? I got the munchies.
Munchies.
Is that a thing though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A joint.
Jointo.
Okay. A stoner. How do you?
Poto head.
Okay. Pothead. Yeah. And how do you say smoke? To smoke. Su. So su tobacco. Su happa.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. So thank you for listening to today's podcast.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it. When we tried to figure out how we're going to talk about cannabis in Japan, like it was so frustrating to us.
Yeah,
right.
It was.
As like weed smokers ourselves, people who love Japan, it's just like really frustrating for us to see that the Japanese government just can't see it.
Or
why is it so negative?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not a part 1, but we'll have another podcast next about drugs in Japan. So all the other drugs, not cannabis.
No.
So please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you find our podcast. Subscribe, follow all our social media. We really appreciate that. And thank you for listening.
ありがとう。
Bye bye.
Bye bye.